It's hard to manage your life when you have gone through trauma. You often end up having some PTSD from that. And one of the symptoms of PTSD is lack of focus and memory issues. Welcome to Healing Evergreen. This is your place on YouTube to receive the most powerful and deepest full Reiki sessions here at 2 p.m. every Tuesday. This coming up Tuesday, we are going to be doing a full session on focus. So think of today's session as the warm-up. Before we get started on that Reiki session, I'm going to go over some tips that you can use to help you focus better, to help your memory a little bit. And as always, if you are only here for the Reiki, you can hit the timestamp below and go on over there. I have been dealing with brain fog and focus, attention issues since I was a child. And add to that, over the last, we'll say 5 years maybe, I'm going through menopause, which kind of layers it. And so I have had to look into and or create some tools to help myself. These tools have helped my clients, and now they're going to help you. So I'm going to talk about 3 different things that you can do to help your focus and or your memory. First, with focus, when you want to get something done, but you're trying to focus and your attention is going everywhere else but where you want it to be. One thing that has worked for me is a timer. I will use this or my phone, and I will set like a 10-15 minute timer. And I'll have it next to me so I know it's there. And as I'm working and I start to pull myself, feel myself pull away and my attention like wanting to veer at what was that noise, or, oh, that's right, I got to do something later, wherever your brain goes, my brain goes everywhere too. And it's really hard for me to focus. So I will set a timer. And as I start to pull away, my focus starts to go away, I look at that timer and I'm pulled right back. I'm like, okay, just 10 more minutes, just 5 more minutes. I can do this. And then I force myself. And then at the end of that 15 minutes, if I fall into a flow, which often happens, I'm able to stay and continue the task even longer. But if I'm not in that flow, that is my 15-minute window, and I am allowed to step away and go do something a little bit more fun for about 5-10 minutes, preferably 5, and then come back and do another 15 minutes. Is it as conducive as some people like working a straight 4 hours through? Maybe not, because you're taking breaks, but for people that have lack of focus, 15 minutes on, 5 minutes off is going to get a lot more done than trying to do the 4 hours that other people can do, because you're just going to be everywhere else. At least that's my experience. So timers are great. Another thing, and this is my key. I'm actually going to do a whole nother video on this one, on all the different ways that you can use a calendar. A calendar is going to help both your focus and your memory. Every night before bed, I will sit down and I will make a list of things that I want to do the next day. And what that does is allows me the 10 minutes of focus at night with my calendar, where I can allow, like, okay, everything that needs to get done, I'm going to mark it down. Because if I don't do that, the next morning I will wake up. That day, everything that I have to do in my mind is just like a big white blob. Like, it's not there. It's not there. And I will end up doing absolutely nothing that day. Or I'll wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be productive, but I don't have it listed out. So I'll do one thing, and then, everything else is just a blur. I have to sit down and force myself to focus and get everything out. When it's the white fog like that, I'm not remembering. I'm not like, I can't, for whatever reason, I just can't grab. And so I'm going about my day like I have nothing to do, but I have lots to do. So that moment of focus allows me to write everything down. Now I don't have to remember throughout the day. I have that calendar with me. Not only that, as I begin to drift around and see other things, when I catch myself veering off of the list and doing something I'm like that I want to do, I'm like, wait, was that on the list? I don't remember. Let me take a look. and I'll look at the list and see whether or not it was there and do what I scheduled myself to do. So that kind of rolls into the third tip that I have for you. And the third tip is writing things down. There's 2 reasons to write things down. First, because, in that scenario, I'm like, I want to do this, but let me look at my book. Oh, that's not scheduled. Let me do what's in the book. But that's something else that needs to get done. And if I don't write it down, I'm going to forget. So I have an ongoing to-do list. So I grab that and put it on this list here. Having the to-do list allows you to keep your focus on what you're doing. Because as you're going, you're like, oh, there's this other thing. Write it down. I got to do bills later. Write it down. That's right. I was thinking about write it down. I wanted to Google something, write it down. It's on your to-do list. You will get to it eventually. Let it go and keep your focus. So now this is doing 2 things for you. The 2 things that I mentioned, that this is twofold. It is keeping your focus because you get it out and you know it's safe and you know you're going to come to it and you know you're going to get it done. So now your brain can go back to what it was doing before. It's also your memory tracker. Now you're never going to forget to do it because you wrote it down. So these are 3 ways 3 tools, 3 ways for you to organize all the stuff that's going on in your brain, all the stuff that's going on in your mind, all the chatter or the lack of chatter. Whatever trauma has done to your memory and your focus. These are 3 ways to help you kind of reel it in and get your life back to where you want it to be. Finally, this Reiki session here has the intention of clearing any chatter within your mind, as well as bringing focus and insight and direction. If you have the clear mind, we're going to fill it with focus and direction. If you have the cluttered mind, we're going to organize it and fill it with focus and direction. And also a little touch of memory help there. So all you have to do to receive this session is relax and say, yes, I would like to receive this session. And also, before we get started, if you are here this long, you are really working on yourself. So let me tell you how this coming up Tuesday session can hit you even deeper. When I do my live sessions here on YouTube, I offer a registration link, a pre-registration link, and I'm going to put it down in the links below. I get a list of pre-registered people, and what I do is I print it out before my session, our session at 2 on Tuesday. I print it out and I look over it and I look at every single name and I talk to Reiki and I say, make sure we hit these people when they watch the session. And then I place it in the area that my hands are going to be so that my hands are directly on you the entire time that we're doing the Reiki session. This brings you closer. Here is a comment from somebody from last week's session and how well the session worked for her, and she was somebody that was registered. So it will definitely give you a closer connection to Reiki as I do that session, the live session, which you can also do this with the replay if you can't make the live. You don't need to register to receive the Reiki. So if you don't want to register, you don't have to. Just show up to the live or come back for the replay next week for your Reiki session on focus. It's just that registering is going to get us one level closer. So without further ado, let's get you your 5 minutes, 5 times powered Reiki session. So just relax, breathe in, let it go. Intend to receive this session. Do not watch it while you are driving